Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt our program of dance music to bring you a special bulletin from the Intercontinental Radio News.
It was better this time.
Yeah. Welcome to the Two Tunes Podcast.
God,
you should have said it at the same time and jinxed me.
No, you owe me a Coke. Anyways, welcome to the Two Tunes Podcast, where we bring two tunes to you, to the podcast. I'm Bo.
I'm Brandon.
And this is the Two Tunes Podcast.
Sorry, I was like awkwardly swallowing when you said
it's all right.
Your thing.
So yeah.
What was that sound at the beginning? We don't have intro music.
Well, you're right, but that's an intro to... It is. Been totally trying to work on that theme song.
No way.
No, that's another podcast bit.
Yeah. So
which they say they really did.
Yeah.
I hope it's a lie. Oh yeah, so that bit there is the opening of our first tune, which is No Use for Name song off of their last record, the Feel Good Record of the Year, and the opening track is called Biggest Lie, and they start with what we just heard there. Now, what that is from War of the Worlds, 1930X.
Yeah.
I think it's 32, but I don't know for a fact. But yeah, and they edited it a little bit, and that's kind of like the way that War of the Worlds, Orson Welles, his radio play of it starts off, where it's like they introduce themselves as like, hey, this is us, that we're doing the thing, and then they go into that, and then they play it like they're interrupting radio programs,
right?
Which caused the hysteria, which apparently didn't really
Clutching
happen.
Of pearls and yeah,
sure. But they cut it up, because if you listen to it, the song goes on a little bit longer, and then it fades out, and then it's like, we interrupt this broadcast, and it's not really an interruption.
Gotcha.
And that kind of like, we're going to stop at that musical ba-dum-bum, and then we interrupt this program to blah blah blah, and then it goes on to. But we'll play that in like a couple seconds.
Yeah.
So
who's No Use for a Name, Bo?
No Use for Name is my favorite band.
Yeah, are they?
It really like one of them.
Okay.
Like I always it was weird, because I always kind of like, there was like the punk rock world and then like the mainstream rock world, and I was like, yeah, like No Use for a Name is like the Foo Fighters of punk rock.
Okay.
Which is really funny, because
one of them is in the Foo Fighters.
because one of the old members of No Use for a Name is now in the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
And that's I want to say Jack Jackson, but that's not his real name. It's Chris Shiflett. Yeah. Whose brother I think is in Face to Face.
Sure.
You have no idea.
I have no idea.
I love how you like backed me up and you're like, sure,
sure,
and then
exactly,
shaking your
I don't
head. No, I have no idea. The lead singer, the main driving force behind No Use for a Name is Tony Sly. And Tony Sly passed away a while ago.
2012.
2012. Oh my God.
I looked it up because I was curious.
Was it 2012?
It was, because I looked it up.
Because you looked it up.
Like today.
Okay. I thought it was later. Or maybe
would have thought so too.
I thought it was after I had moved here. So Tony Sly, amazing songwriter, is one of those guys also who doesn't like NoFX doesn't write choruses. I mean, he does in some of his songs, but most of the songs are just like, here's the lyrics, here's the guitar riff or whatever. And
in a way, very like singer-songwritery. Just happens to be a punk rock musician. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like could have very easily been a 60s balladeer kind of guy. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. But they just happen to do that. So like they're not concerned about the hook or the whatever. It's the storytelling. That's the idea.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And he even does did solo shows, and like it's just him. It's not No Use for a Name. It's Tony Sly, and you can. I think he wrote most of his songs just like an acoustic guitar and his voice, and it's like, okay, I want this beat, and it works, and a lot of things, because you can slow all this stuff down. And you were saying when we tried to do this the first time, because every podcast is done many times, and we mention it. The tribute album, the Tony Sly tribute album, and I said that this version, this cover, Biggest Lie, is really, really, really good, and I think it's mostly a cappella.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it in a
and
while.
what was the girl's name again?
Karina Deneke from Dance Hall Crashers.
Yeah, so their version is just, it's really good. So
I was trying to remember, you were saying about Tony Sly doing like stuff under his own name.
Yeah,
quite a bit.
It was him and Joey Cape.
Joey Cape, yeah, that's what I was trying to remember. I was like, it's always, not always, but it's a lot of times Tony Sly and I couldn't remember. And he's the guy from Lagwagon, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. That's I just
and they were also they were also in another band together called Scorpios.
Okay.
Now it sounds like that's super metal, but it's not. So it was them two, and it was Snodgrass. What's the
John Snodgrass.
Yeah, and it's him, and it was just those three. And now,
so sort of like punk rock supergroup.
Yes, but there's like a reason, and I'm going to get to there. And then when Tony passed, they didn't like replace Tony with the lead singer of
sorry.
Why can't I think of the band's name? They were a ska punk band, but not really a ska punk band anymore. The Flatliners.
Oh, okay.
Flatliners from Toronto.
Okay.
Which my band played with when they were like just starting out, and then they took off because they're really good.
Nice.
But all of their birthdays are the same.
Oh,
not the same date, but like
Scorpios.
within. Yeah,
Nice.
so like
it.
it falls into that. Like it's their sign.
Yeah.
And it was a joke, but then they're like, you fit into this little thing. So like Scorpios is like their birthdays are all like within a week.
That's cool.
Of each other, all four of them, which is weird. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, because they could be within like a month. They could be technically in like separate months and whatever.
Yeah, but they're like really, really close in November. I think that's what it is.
Cool.
I
don't know when
wrong.
Scorpios are.
Neither do I. But yeah, this is as I said, my favorite band. And I compare them to Foo Fighters.
Cool.
And here's like the really real beginning of this.
Sweet.
Back to this thing. Which it also ends, like the record ends with this kind of idea. Now we return you to. And this is really cool. This and then this really cool. Yeah, there you go. That's it. No, that's not. It is. It's like. So like little intro part and then vocal start, lead stuff, like it's just like so good.
This is 2008, is that correct?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't know why I always like to know when things are.
I want to say, well,
it says 2008 on Spotify,
and Spotify is
never wrong.
But I mean, I don't really know what the lyrical content are, but like the writings on the wall.
It sounds very political to me.
Yeah. To relay the message that we wrote ourselves. So the chord progression has not changed yet, and then like nothing's repeated yet, and now we're in the quote unquote chorus, but these words don't repeat at all. The lead line, which is done by both guitars, which I love
cool.
that when like both guitars do like
playing in harmony and stuff.
Yeah, but like a fast.
Yeah,
I kind of it reminds me of violin stuff.
Oh,
which is weird, but
no, totally. Yeah, again, only listened to this a couple times. Like the lyrical content, political, but also like existential, angsty kind of. Just like against the system and the man and whatever. Maybe not a specific ideology, but just kind of like
yeah. So then, and we're halfway through the song
because it's a punk rock song. Yeah. I pulled up to Starbucks this morning to grab my drink as I usually do before we record, and I had like 3 minutes until the thing was ready.
Yeah,
and I was like, I definitely have time to listen to this song
at least once more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's more of it. Because that's what we do on this podcast. Like, I think that line, it's like, listen to celebrities and they'll like tell you, it's like, you got to buy a hybrid. And it's like, well, if you could stave up
with your food stamps.
With your food. Yeah. Where it's just like the dichotomy of like, be a better person. And it's like, I can't because I'm poor.
Yeah. I just saw like it was a meme, but it was like a thing about that of like of all the times that celebrities or rich people tell poor people things that they should do, they should owe them money. and then all like, and it kept getting like, where every time a rich person says to do this, they should give me $100, and every time a rich person says to do this, it gets $200, and it like kept going, and of like more severe things, and the final one was like, they have to give me $500 and I get to punch them in the face. But it was all these different things that like people who have the means and the wealth and the power and the influence and all that stuff, it's easy for them to say, oh, just save up, or oh, just do this, or oh, just do that. It's like, you don't live paycheck to paycheck, or you aren't scrambling to or deciding to pay your heat or buy some groceries or those kinds of things. Like,
yeah,
just kind of reminded me of that.
Which I don't think that No Use for a Name is a big political band.
Sure. Well, that's why like it doesn't feel specifically, like where some of those bands where it's very specific who they're about and what they're talking about. I think this is just more about like a lot of punk rock is just anti-establishment and going against the norm, if you will.
Yeah. Which also makes the title of this record hilarious.
Yeah.
The feel-good record of the year. The writing's on the wall, but no one cares at all, to convey the message that we wrote ourselves. Destroy the walls we mend and burn the candle at both ends. That's like the first verse, right? And then becoming more mindless of the heart. I'm going to skip all the well, no, I'm not. So becoming more mindless of the heart because everything we hate, building our castles for the future, a Trojan horse is at the gate, built by the enemy that we made.
This sounds like a lot of, like maybe he's got like a notebook that he writes down like little lines and things, and then he just like took a bunch of those and put them together.
Yeah, like these all fit together.
Yeah, like they don't necessarily tell a distinct narrative or a story, but it's like this idea, this idea, this idea, this idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where are we in at this? The harmonies.
I like the little 4/3 sauce there. That's cool. They did it before too.
They do it all the time. Like that's like a No Effects, No Use for a Name thing that they do that. So a lot of like my punk rock writing is influenced by No Use for a Name. There's a song that we have that actually is recorded, because a lot of the songs that I've written aren't recorded because we stopped recording.
Sure.
But are 100% just ripped off of No Use for a Name.
I mean,
second verse / chorus. It's false sincerity. We hear celebrity, in quotes. Buy a hybrid if you can with 10 years of your food stamps. Caught myself listening to sheltered excuses for human beings. So like you got to get a hybrid. It's like a Tesla, because those are really expensive.
Yeah.
Like I wish I could help the world.
Right.
But I'm not like it, and I'm kind of in the middle of doing this now. So cutting back on meat, cutting back on plastics, and my wife is really like into like getting rid of plastics. We're like, she deep dived into that because she watched
John Oliver.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's like a lot of stuff I didn't. I was like, wait a second, all these recycling things don't actually recycle.
Yeah.
Although if you think about like where I live, I live in like a community type thing, and they have like, there's a dumpster for all of us. And then we used to have all these different recycling bins, and this one was for like green glass and brown glass and clear plastic and colored plastic and newspaper and all these different things. And then it became all goes into one, and it's like, how does that work exactly?
Because they're like, let you feel good.
Yeah, but then also you put like the wrong type of thing in, like one wrong type of thing in there, and it jacks up the whole thing. I'm like, that seems like a really bad system.
Yeah,
and it's because it is. Anyway,
reuse, reduce, recycle. Notice how recycle is the last thing on that list. So we're reducing.
That's good.
Using, but using that idea, it's like it's still kind of like more expensive, and less like, or more time consuming. Like eating meat is super convenient.
Yeah.
But it's slowly becoming more and more convenient to be vegetarian. Or at least being like, at least they're moving in the right direction, like the Impossible Whopper.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, it's still cooked on the same grill as a burger, so you're technically like still kind of eating meat,
right?
But they're taking steps in the right direction.
Yeah.
So small steps to change the future. Then we're at this part, which is the second chorus, maybe.
Okay.
Because they're not like there's
Not
nothing
official
that
chorus, yeah, nothing that repeats.
like the only idea here that repeats is that like it's a call and response kind of thing. So right,
Yeah, it is the same melodic content.
yes, but would you consider that a chorus?
Yeah,
But verses are.
or refrain or something. I don't know.
I'm gonna stop there for a second because the solo is pretty cool. So they separate what we get. What have we got? They separate. Then what have we got? Nothing in common with their wealth. One clip can change public. This is. I think this next part is like really, really, really cool. Considering that it came out in 2008.
Yeah.
No. One clip can change public opinion. One sin can send you straight to hell. Learn how to lie and not get caught. More piss in the melting pot. That one clip can change public opinion, and then one sin can send you straight to hell. Like you could do one horrible thing, and it ruins your life. And it's like, okay, so how do you like? I think that if you go far enough back into somebody's past, they were an asshole at one point. Every single person, every single person, at some point did something horrible, and like the whole idea of cancel culture,
Right. Yeah.
it's like, yeah, they made some bad decisions, or at least being like, you can't like that thing anymore. Like, there's this idea, death of the author. What's her name?
Lindsay Ellis.
Lindsay Ellis,
Yeah.
which is not like you have to kill the author. It's like
Right.
no. You can disconnect,
Yeah. Separate the.
the
person
author
from the
from
work.
the work. So
Yeah.
like Harry Potter, like yeah, like if you put money into Harry Potter, she's getting it,
Right.
but you can at least be like, well, I already have it.
Yes.
So
You
I can
you
enjoy
can
it.
decide if you and some people they can't.
Yeah.
Or they can't for now. I think I mentioned this before. I have a friend who she's a Harry Potter tattoo and she's like very much into it, but she, a few months ago or whatever, just was like, I'm going to box up these books and put them away for a while because I just need separation from this.
Yeah.
Totally. And that's completely her prerogative. And she, the transphobia and stuff coming from Joanne was too much.
When you say Joanne, I want to just say fabric afterwards, and that's not the same thing at all.
So in that Lindsay Ellis video, actually lots of things she refers to JK as Joanne, which is her name, and it just the stank she puts on it when she says it is so good.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, like just if you I don't know, just the cancel culture thing. I get to a large extent because some people. I don't know if it's cancel's the right word, but I like the term accountability culture.
Yes,
or
that is a
responsibility culture, whatever, because that's the whole thing. And even the whole cancel thing, that's a term used by other people who don't actually understand what's going on. But things don't get canceled necessarily. It's just like things get not prioritized. Oh God, what's the word I'm looking for? Put into like proper context, contextualized. That's what I'm looking for. And you go, oh well, yeah, like. Maybe we don't need to have this around anymore or have it be highlighted as much or whatever, or we need to put a trigger warning on this or whatever, because, it is not great. And that's, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm going to tiny little soapbox. I'm just going to step off of that for a second.
I like that line. That's what, like, I think it's very relevant even today.
Yeah.
Which I think songs should lose their relevance. I know.
Except they don't.
Except they don't. And that's like things that my band wrote in 2002 are like about what's going on in the world are still relevant, and things that are like in the 60s are still relevant. And it's like I wish they would.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. I wish for this song doesn't make any sense. What are you talking about? This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I hope for those days,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
but maybe someday.
Yeah.
Keep striving to be better people. Guitar solo. I don't know who's playing guitar on this at all. It would have been Chris Shiflett, but it's not him. And then the last chorus. And then they finally say the name of the song right at the end.
Yeah.
And yeah, that goes directly
goes,
in. Well,
now it goes in
on
the
this.
yeah.
On this is our playlist, but it goes into the next song.
Yeah.
On that record, but the last chorus, shut out majority with riches. Their words become more valuable than the voice of a million starving children's that they have a million ways to solve. Left freedom bleeding on the roadside. We believe the biggest lie.
Yeah. It's deep.
So deep.
So, No Use for Name. I mentioned this on the non-existent version of this same episode, but I was saying that they're a band that I am very much aware of and have listened to, not extensively, but quite a bit of singles by them because I have them on a lot of compilations, but not a group I've listened to extensively. But it's just one of those weird things. I was saying before that you often bring bands to this podcast or tunes to this podcast and stuff that are groups that I'm aware of but have never really listened to at all, or maybe know one song by. This is a little bit different where I do know more of their stuff, but I still never really got into them. But I want to. I'm going to go back and listen to more. But yeah, I just have them on like a bunch of Fat Rat compilations and some other compilations and stuff. And like I said, I like them a lot. I like Tony Sly's stuff, and it's super unfortunate that he's not still around and writing music. And it'd be really cool to hear what he would have said over the last 4 years, especially. And but yeah, like I definitely now want to go back and listen to them more. And they've been around, or they were around for a long time.
Yeah.
Like they go back. I did like a little quick search on Wikipedia just to like look at, what I didn't realize about them or didn't know about them. It's like they go back to the 80s.
Late 80s.
Yeah, like 86, 87. But like Tony Sly wasn't even in the original lineup. He was by like 89 or something by the time they made actual releases. But it used to be a couple other people, and there's like one guy who's been in it the whole time and stuff. And I just looked up who the lead guitarist probably was because they have the timeline thing on Wikipedia. Dave Nassy, I think it says. Yeah, but
it's just Tony Sly's band.
Yeah.
So it's for me.
Yeah. And they are no longer a thing, or they still are. I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't really paid attention since Tony died. There is, or there was, there's a song off like No Effects. So Fat Mike, really good friends with Tony Sly, and really thinks it's like Tony's like the best guy. Like why? Like
what did Tony pass away from?
I want to. It's hard to say. But... No. I know what it is, but it's like. So I'm gonna say drug overdose,
right?
But it's not like the drug overdose you're thinking of when you think of a drug overdose. It was like he was on medication, and that medication killed him.
Yeah.
So, like, yes, it's a drug overdose, but it's not like...
It wasn't like shooting up heroin or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Just on was it like a combination of things or just like the dosage or whatever? That happened to Patton Oswalt's first wife, who was a writer and stuff, and she took some kind of medication. She was sick or I forget what was going on. She took something and then just like never woke up. And they can trace it to that medicine or whatever. And again, she was not a drug user. She just was taking some kind of prescription thing that was prescribed for her, and it just happens sometimes.
Yeah. So no Effects on their 2016 release, First Ditch Effort. I think it's the last track on this record. It's called I'm So Sorry, Tony, and it's like, we'll make you cry if you care about this person. But there's a line in it, or not a line, but like a paragraph of it. And it's like, all the endless nights we had and 20 years of laughs. I've looked, but I can't find any photographs of us because it's weird to take photos with your best friend because you don't think you'll never see them again. And it's like,
that's heavy.
And then I was thinking about my best friends, and I'm like, there aren't that many pictures of you need to take pictures with your friends.
Yeah.
Like every day. Like who cares if like, oh, I got my selfie stick, let's take a selfie. It's like, no. When you're 60 or whatever, you know, like when they're gone, you'll want to go back and look at those photos. And
well, I think about too, like there's a whole, our generation especially. So, okay. Yeah. We've been part of the smartphone thing and whatever, but I think there was a point probably like in our teens and 20s and whatever before those came out, that there probably aren't a lot of pictures that we have because we would have had to have like either the disposable ones or whatever, and then like digital cameras kind of came out, but like maybe people didn't really have them. And I feel like our parents' generation have a ton of pictures of everything, and even like when we were kids there's probably like a ton of pictures of stuff, but I feel like there's probably like a 10 or 15 year gap in our lives of people our generation and stuff that there aren't that many of. And then you go to where we have smartphones, and now we have pictures of everything. But you're right. Are we taking pictures with our friends and with other things? Are we taking pictures of the things that we were at with them? Which is good in some way, but yeah.
I think I sent that to some of my friends from Chicago, and like one of them like was like, "Oh, we need to do this more often.
Yeah, right.
We need to take we got to take a picture. We got to do this."
You and I, there's probably not a picture of us in existence.
You're probably right.
Oh, okay, there's one because I took one of us of the failed episode we tried to do before, but
it'll be on Instagram.
But I'll put it up on Instagram.
You can put it up right now.
But but you know what I mean. Like we're good friends, I think, and stuff. And like, but why would we have had a picture together?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
I'm thinking, and I'm like, I don't think there is.
Even of like us as a department or whatever. Like, there's just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll take a selfie after this, and then
we will
post it.
Post it. By the way, this is what we look like.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
So
yeah, great. Like I said, I want to listen to more of them. I want to go back to that tribute album also.
Yeah, the tribute album is really, really good.
Yeah.
This album is really good. Like it gets better as time goes on. When I was like in high school, I had a CD changer that would be my alarm every morning.
Okay.
And really, I would wake up when it was like kicking on, and it was like right, like changing the CD. But not this record, but one of their records was one of that like I would wake up to every day, and I'm like, I know the first track because that's the thing that would wake me up every day. And it was so this album has that little weird intro, and they do that a lot. Well, they'll take movie clips or like clips from things that are relevant. So they have one from like the Munsters. It's like, I think Little Eddie's going through the punk phase. And then like there's a song about like people being stereotyped.
Okay.
And it like has that, and it's like, it's like, oh, he's a punk. It's like, so what? Who cares? Like let him be who he is. And then this is where we get the explicit lyrics. There's one, it's like, what's your name? Fuck you. That's my name. And then the song starts.
That's
and
awesome.
I forget what album, like it's from some gangster film, I think.
Okay.
And then there's like just tons and tons of these little, like now I'm like thinking about them, like, like the one record is there. It's from like a soccer game. Sorry, a football game. Which will tie in. And it's like Louis goal, and then it like goal, and then it's like do 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 do, and then it starts the song off. So they do that a lot.
Yeah.
And then it's just like you got to listen to all these records because there's another one, and like, would you go around the car and you lift up that? If she doesn't lift up that door, I mean she's a selfish broad. And like I've got all these things like
That's
on
funny.
memory.
Yeah.
And anybody who's listened to these knows what I'm talking about. But go listen to No Use for a Name. They're great. Every song.
Sweet.
It's amazing. And now a word from our sponsor.
Ding, doom.
We now return you to the music of Ramon Roskello, playing for you in the Meridian Room of the Park Plaza Hotel, situated in downtown New York.
Nice. Is that the end of the album?
Yeah. But
Cool.
we're recording, so.
No, I know. That's cool. I like that they did that. They bookend it. Go back to that tango. Cool.
Yeah.
So my tune now?
Your tune.
All right. I love this song. This has become one of
do you
my
feel lost?
favorite songs of all time.
Do you feel lost?
And it's only been out for
20 million years.
5 years. No, this song's only been out for a handful of years.
Is it?
This is off of the second album. This is the first single off
Do you
the
feel
second
lost?
album. For so long.
For so long?
Yeah. So this tune is I've Been So Lost for So Long by American Football, who, in doing the minimal amount of research that I did for this, I either do like none, very little, or a lot. There's no.
I did
there.
0.
Do you know this band?
I
Or is
know
this one of those
them.
bands you know of them? Okay.
I know they're 1999.
Sure.
release.
Which was for a long time the only thing that they had. But anyway,
I love the way that they
the stylized
what
version of the name.
yeah, sure.
Americ and Football.
Yeah.
that they do all over the place. So yeah, they were an emo band from the late 90s, but apparently also math rock. They're considered math
Oh my
rock.
God, this song is so math rocky.
But it's funny because I hadn't really thought about that, but I'm like, no, yeah, that makes sense. But so they're an emo group. They're led by Mike Kinsella, who's like big in that style. He's also the guy behind the band Owen, if anybody knows them, and Captain Jazz and some other groups. But yeah, the basic story of them is that they were together for just a couple years and they recorded one album that everybody loved, and then they just weren't a band anymore. And like that was it. And they were kind of one of these like legendary groups that people just missed because I think they had an EP and then they had the album.
Yeah,
and then that was it.
way.
And it was self-titled, and then that was it. And now they have 2 more albums, also self-titled. So
Yeah.
like LP2 and LP3 or whatever. But
And the visuals on the album
are very similar. Yeah.
All right. Well, the first 2 are. The third one kind of
It's
strays a
much
little
different. Yeah. But the first one, so there's this house
bit. Yeah.
that they have a picture of that has become known as the American Football House, and people like go on pilgrimages. I think it's in Champaign or Urbana in Illinois.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're from Urbana.
Okay. But I think Champaign or Urbana is like close to each. I don't know. Anyway.
I have no idea.
But yeah, so they were just this kind of legendary group for a long time. And then, yeah, in 2016 or so,
Yeah.
came back with another album, and now also
With
have another
LP2.
one. LP2, American Football. And this was the lead single off of that. This was like
this was.
when they announced, by the way, we have a new album coming out, they dropped this song.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been obsessed with it now for like 5 years because I just really like it. Lyrically, especially.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing I latch onto a lot. Musically, it's great as well. But yeah, do you want to just play it?
Yeah, man.
Only in the right side? Or
Oh,
mostly?
interesting. What's the time signature?
3.
Right now.
It's in 3.
Yeah, it's in 3.
Just keeps doing this thing. Then
Yeah.
eventually the vocals come in.
Because emo is all about, it's kind of like Philip Glass type stuff.
Like minimalist.
Yeah. That's like that. Just that. Like, I'm gonna play something completely different that just fits every so often.
Like counterpoint almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But advanced. Yeah. Especially for rock
For
and
punk.
or roll.
Man, my throat's been like sore. Kick.
I like that line. If you need me, don't.
Okay.
This, can you pause for a second?
Yeah.
Just because I can't think and talk.
Because you want to listen to this song.
Because I do. But like lyrically, it really speaks to me quite a bit. It's hard on your sleeve. There's a little bit of like self-deprecation.
Well, yeah. It says you
And-
can't, if you need me, don't. You can't trust a man who can't even find his way home.
Yeah. It's, I know it's cliche to say, but it's a very emotional song. Like again, it's emo and whatever. Isn't all music emotional? Yeah, shut up.
It works for you. It
Yeah.
fits you.
Yeah, it's.
I'm not saying it doesn't fit me, but
Yeah, it's like I said,
Probably right
from
now.
the moment I first heard this song, I became like kind of obsessed with it, and,
Mm-hmm.
and I just and still 5 years later, still am.
It still
I
speaks
go
to you.
back to it a lot. Like I said, it's become one of my favorite songs of all time, and it's only been out for 5 years. Anyway, you can keep playing it. I just
yep.
like it a lot. It's a good one to listen to when you're driving late at night,
Yeah,
crying in your
yourself.
car. I may or may not have done that numerous times in the last 5 years.
Oh,
And now
yes.
Math Rock. It's still in 3.
Yeah,
but
it's
it
still
has
in
that
3.
polyrhythmical thing going over top
doesn't
of
it get into like the 2 against 3?
It kind of is.
This isn't.
Not as
but
much.
I think
it does eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, get more.
does it get loud?
Yeah.
No, but
Not
it like
loud,
gets a little.
loud.
It's like, hey, we're gonna throw in some snare now, and then hi hat.
Yeah. I like that line too. Doctor, it hurts when I exist. Like,
You think that like from 1999 to 2016, they wouldn't be writing the same kind of stuff?
yeah, but it's more.
I mean, depending on how old
But
they
so
are.
you
what's
go from like
applicable.
teenagers to like now you've lived life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like how much really changes. like you grow and mature, but you still have a lot of the same feelings and thoughts, and
Yeah.
you have a lot to overcome.
I want to like.
I like that they're not afraid to like hang out on some instrumental stuff too, like as lyrically driven as they are.
Yeah.
Just do some development stuff on the music.
Would you consider this shoegazy? I don't really know what shoegazy is that much, but
Kinda. Yeah.
but yeah, it's totally math.
Yeah.
And what is math rock to you?
Can you pause for a second? So to me, when I hear the term math rock, I think more proggy, heavier guitars, whatever. Very, very distinct, like more angular lines, more like we're switching time signatures every couple bars or whatever, like that kind of.
Okay.
But then when I saw that the term math rock was kind of given to these guys, I was like, no, I get that. They're playing with these polyrhythms and playing with maybe time signatures or at least time feels and different stuff, and maybe like odd form. Like I've never actually analyzed the form of this tune and stuff, like to see exactly what's going on with it. And but I feel like just anything that kind of messes with any of those things is, I guess, what math rock is. Are you looking up exactly what math rock is?
No. I'm looking up something different that it's reminding me of, and I just want to make sure that I've got this thing.
I'm going to look up what
math rock is. What
math
specifically?
Rock? You know what I mean? Like what does say like Wikipedia define it as?
So I want to point out this. Like when I hear math rock and when I listen to stuff like this, I am always reminded about this band called Facing New York.
Okay.
Nobody's ever heard of them. Which is not true because they were probably like really big. But I saw them on Warped Tour really, really, really early on in there. So like it says that they're like in early 2004, the group participated in the Vans Warped Tour 2004 on select dates. I saw them
on a select date.
On a select date, yes. They were there, and I'm like, this is like, it was weird.
Yeah,
like, it was good. So they're Facing New York, which is not this band that we're talking about right now, American Football, but they are known as progressive rock, indie rock. They're from San Francisco. I don't know why they're called Facing New York, but
because they were looking east.
Because they were like, well, let's not look. Let's look towards the mountain. Facing New York. But the weirdest thing, the thing that stuck out to me about this band, besides it's like, oh, this is really cool, is the way that they, and it wasn't just one. I don't think it was just one member. It was like the way that they moved while playing the music. So when you play or you sing, how do you move? Like physically
depends.
Moving. Okay. So like, do you sway back and forth?
Yes.
So left and right.
Depends.
Do you like go forwards?
Yep, that too.
Have you ever gone in a circle?
Maybe I don't know.
Okay, so if you don't know, like
depends
I'm doing
on the
a
style that I'm
like I'm going
yeah.
left and right, but I'm going up and down, right?
Yeah.
This band did that while they were rocking out to like, and I'm like, that is the.
Did they do it together?
No,
or just they would just kind of do it.
It was like instead of like going like like you're rocking out and you're going down like goosenecking,
or headbanging
right?
kind of
or headbanging.
Yeah.
This guy was just going in circles.
Interesting.
It was just like the weirdest thing, but it was like so cool, and the band was really good too.
Yeah.
So another band, maybe I'll dive into their catalog because I couldn't really tell you like a song by them. But Facing New York.
Do you still listen to them?
No. Like
okay.
I'm saying I cannot.
You just remember seeing them.
I just remember seeing them and being like Facing New York, and this is kind of like it reminds me of American Football.
Okay.
But it probably sounds nothing like
it. Yeah. That just reminded me of like the handful of times that I went to Warped Tour, and I like when you just happen to stumble across a band, and then maybe you like them or love them or whatever, or just like you keep thinking about them. But that's me, and there's a band called Sherwood. When I was at the one time that Warped Tour was in Hershey, I had gone over to like the main stage area, saw a couple bands, including Yellow Card, and then the like side stage that was like the very tiny side stage that was like next to the main stage. I like walked over there in between bands or when this other band was playing that I didn't really care for, and just happened to hear this band called Sherwood, and then I really liked them. Yeah. And then I also remember standing there watching them, and I look over to my right, and the guy standing next to me is the violin player from Yellow Card.
Yeah.
I just was like, wait, you're the cool. Good show.
That's like the really
both
cool
vibing with this band. Yeah.
That's the really cool part about Warped Tour is that
sure.
you could discover bands and then you could see bands.
Yeah.
and
just
be like,
see people just chilling.
yeah, my yellow card story is that I think it was probably that year.
Okay.
So we were playing it that year. The next year we were working it, which sucks. Don't ever like. I'm glad that it's done. Only because I wasn't like. Anyway, it's great, but it's like punk rock summer camp, which people on that tour will be like, yeah, totally, that totally makes sense. Yeah. But the drummer had a little, and when I mean little, I mean like really little, motorbike.
Okay.
Like could fit on
one
my
of those
desk.
like mini bikes. Yeah.
But like he barely fit on it.
Yeah.
And he would just like be whipping around backstage, and it's just like, this is so dumb but funny and awesome.
So back to where our tangent started.
Yeah.
I looked up math rock, and it says it references prog and indie bands like King Crimson and Rush, as well as Steve Reich. Back to the minimalist thing. Characterized by complex, atypical rhythmic structures, including irregular stopping and starting, counterpoint, odd time signatures, angular melodies, and extended, often dissonant chords.
Besides the dissonant chords, like everything you said,
I
like,
know,
yeah, this totally makes that.
Yeah.
What I was noticing, because this also like this has a defined left and right guitar, and they're both doing something different, and you can hear that. And one was like kind of doing maybe eighth notes, and the other one was doing like quarter notes.
Yeah.
And like it's not like a 3-note, or like a 2-measure thing. Like the one guitar player is doing like maybe 2 measures while the other one's doing quarter notes, and like it's like 3 measures, and then they kind of, I don't know for a fact, I need to listen more to it.
But so like what you're saying is like essentially they're their own things, but you put them together, now they become this
which is
other thing, which is counterpoint essentially. And,
exactly.
And,
let's go back to the song. Yeah, like everybody's kind of doing their own thing.
And even the drums, like there's Shaker that's like doing straight time, but the drums is doing its own thing. And again, just living in this instrumental stuff.
If you find me.
Dissonance. Right there in the left. Yeah.
Its own the phrasing structure is odd, and like those two compared to each other.
Yeah, and that we're like one, and then you go bum 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 bum, right?
Yeah,
like that's that.
And I like that this just kind of hangs out, false ending.
This is me.
I like this line too.
Reaching out to you.
This is me reaching out to you publicly. But what else is new?
I want a harmony.
There's
right
slightly there towards the end, but I always think that too.
Like it's not. I'm gonna go back. So. Yeah.
They do throw in at the end.
It is there, but it's like it's so like just.
Yeah.
Not it's not prominent.
Yeah. And then.
Maybe I'm asleep. This is all a dream.
Again, feels like an ending.
They're all over the place. Like,
I know.
Nobody's really
quite together.
Because like the 1 and 2 and 3.
Yeah, like it's probably not a click track at this point, or maybe it is.
I think it would be because that.
And then it actually does end with the tune, but. Yeah. And so like not all their stuff is exactly like this. There's some that's like a little bit more distorted guitars, a little bit heavier and stuff, but it's all got this kind of vibe, even regardless of exactly how it is. But yeah, like I said, this has just become one of my favorite tunes of all time.
All time.
And I go back to it a lot.
Cool.
When I'm happy, when I'm sad. Crying in my car late at night driving around. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Well,
that's our episode.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
If you want to email us, you can email us at twotunespodcast@gmail.com.
Check us out on Instagram at twotunespodcast. We're on Facebook.
Yes, we're on Facebook. And if you want to join in on our nice conversation over at Discord, link is in the description.
Yeah. Please, well, first of all, thank you for listening again. And please like and share. Tell all your friends. Post us on all the things.
What is the band?
Taking Back Sunday.
Taking Back Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. That's going to be our new bit.
I like that album a lot.
who's in the band at that point?
At that point, all the same people, like
the original members.
Adam Lazzara, the people who ended up being in Straylight Run.
The people
I can't remember their names, but the people that were in that. Yeah, it was before Fred joined the band.
It was John Nolan.
I was going to say Nolan something, but I didn't remember that was his last name.
John. So we'll do a Taking Back Sunday
anyway.
episode.
Yeah, but anyway, we appreciate you listening and like and subscribe and share and all that stuff.
All right,
cool. Thanks.
bye.
Bye.
It's gonna take 2 seconds.